Bonus!
Piper Leo! Crew, what the hell is going on? Look out! Piper, now!
Here are these words. Hear the rhyme.
Crew, Piper, page, book!
Hear now the words of the witches.
Keep it going, Phoebe.
Hear now the words of the witches.
The words of the witches. The words of the witches.
Crew, Piper, page,
Hear now the words of the
keep it
witches.
going, Phoebe. Keep it going.
Hear now the words of the
Keep chanting.
Words of the witches.
Hear now the words.
The words of the witches. The story.
Crew, Piper, page, book! Keep chanting.
Hear now the words of the witches.
Keep chanting.
What ass backward spell did you guys cast?
This is Kevin, and welcome to Words of the Witches.
Hear now the words of the witches.
Piper, page, book!
Words of the witches. The words of the witches. The words of the witches. Hear now the words of the witches.
Keep chanting.
Hear now the words of the witches.
Today is our 3-year anniversary of the podcast, which is super exciting. Yay. February 26th. The first episode we had was February 26th, 2021. And yeah, James Mansfield was on that, and we've been going ever since. So it's weird not having like a podcast every week. We're on break right now, but that's because we've been busy writing and figuring things out, plot lines. Can I join you now? Can you join me now?
That's good.
So hi, I'm Kevin, your resident child resource. And we have Aaron here,
Yeah.
composer of the musicale
Yeah.
of this.
I wasn't ready. I
know. No, I did not warn people that this was coming. Well, I said I'll be going live, but I never gave a time because I didn't know what time I would be coming on. But we're here. This will probably go live on the Spotify podcast feed as well after we're done, just because it's interessant and it's the anniversary of our podcast. And yeah, we're going to talk about things. Before we do any musical stuff or just talk about Charmed in general, we have to talk about Planaria Price. She owned the Charmed Manor in his house with her husband, Murray, and she passed away on Valentine's Day this year, which was super sad. They live streamed the funeral. I didn't get to watch it because I had a show myself. But yeah, it was really great that, you know, we have the podcast that we did together when we interviewed her inside the house that, you know, that will always live on in our kind of feed here with Hubert, who she had such a strong connection with because they had the same birthday. She taught English to people from other countries, and so she really bonded with him because he's from Austria. And yeah, and the love of architecture and things like that. So pretty nice. So what a wonderful lady she was. So the musical's almost here.
It is.
We have started to get auditions coming in. We have quite a few auditions, a lot of really great prospective people. I'm excited to hear more from them and see what comes to fruition with it.
It's been a whole process. Right.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
quite a while.
Mm-hmm. It's been almost a year at this point.
Yeah. It was tricky because we were creating it while I was still doing the comics episodes with Sean.
Yeah.
While we were, doing those. And that was hard because I'm like, I have to do this weekly podcast. I don't have time to write as much as I want. But once we ended the comic season, I was like ready to go full in, but then I started a show as well. I was doing a play, which I had to start memorizing for and going to rehearsals, which, you know, would have been done a lot sooner, I think, if we didn't have all that. But
Yeah.
now I'm completely free, and we're going to make it happen, and it's almost time. And every time we write new things, I get more and more excited. Every time I hear new things. And, Oh, I have a question for you, because I didn't get to talk to you.
For me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you said you would think when we cast it, people will record themselves separately and then send in the stuff. In my mind, I totally thought about like podcast format where we record the podcast and do it similar, but you think it would be a better quality if we do it the other way.
Yeah, because, well, as long as I'm able to extract their voice by itself, like
Right.
they can record themselves singing along to it, and then as long as I'm able to get just their raw
Right.
audio, whether
Yeah.
they have like the song in their headphones and they're singing out loud, or they have, whichever way is easiest for them to do it.
Because I feel
Yeah.
like I was thinking about like dialogue too. I feel like dialogue will be easy when you're playing off someone else with the lines, and like in podcast form,
Yeah.
So dialogue especially, I was thinking just saying it. And
That
when
you could do, yeah.
yeah, and when we do record podcast, we do get everybody's file separately,
Mhm.
so that shouldn't be a problem. But yeah, I can't talk. People from all over the world are auditioning, so that's pretty exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Quite a few local people as well, some friends. Do you have any characters who purposefully can't sing well? I didn't. It's not explicitly stated, but I was anticipating Piper to not sing the best. But some things I wanted Piper to sing, but it wouldn't matter if she's like the most amazing singer either. I feel like if anybody, she would probably be the one that's like, whatever. It's whatever, they get what they get.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I want to have that musical theater sound. And I also want them to sound like the characters, but really they don't have to have the voice exactly, but just like have the spirit. I want them to feel like the characters, because if there are impressionists that are great, fine, but as long as they give me the energy that I want from the character, then that's all I need.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, I was just telling Aaron this, I think a lot of people are expecting this to be the series put into musical form.
Right.
Like it's going to be a very summarized version of what happened in the show from start to end. And I think that's what a mainstream Charmed musical would be. But this is going to take place within comic territory, because I want to reward people who listen to this podcast or who read the comics and listened. So it's actually taking place between issue 6 and issue 7 of season 10 of the comics. But because of the spell, they go back to memories from the series that we know, from the episodes that we know. And it does feature all 4 sisters. I mean, you can't do it any other way in my brain. So, and there's people in memories and things like that.
Yeah, basically answers the question, what if Charmed had a special musical episode that aired now?
Exactly.
What would that look like? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not thinking of it as like a full Broadway musical.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking of it as a musical episode, if that existed. And in my brain, the musical episode exists in the comics territory. Just because that gives us the opportunity to get all of the sisters, and really kind of, it gives them the opportunity to reflect on what happened in the series after a few years have passed, which is pretty neat. Yeah. I have to. There's more auditions that I have to show you that I didn't show you yet.
It'll be cool to hear though.
Yeah. Everyone's doing some great stuff. Everybody's very excited who does get involved.
Oh yeah.
And we do need some people to fill child roles. We have a young Wyatt and a young Chris. Well, they're Wyatt's about 8 in this, and Chris is about 6 in this. And we have Phoebe's firstborn daughter, PJ, who has a little bit of a little scene in this as well.
Mm-hmm.
Were you inspired by the Buffy musical episode? I guess yes and no. I think the fact that Buffy had a musical episode and it's so similar to Charmed kind of really irked me why we didn't have a Charmed episode. I'm like, it should make sense that Charmed gets this treatment. So I did want to kind of have this kind of fit in line with that. I think there's one song that kind of is very reminiscent of the Xander and Anya song from the Buffy musical that I thought about for the Piper and Leo song. But otherwise, not too much. I think I did make a cover art for it, which I'm not sharing yet. It's the surprise. But I think I was trying to take elements that were in the cover art for the Buffy musical to kind of inspire my Charmed one. But otherwise, it's kind of its own thing, which is nice. I think just having any kind of music, because Once Upon a Time did it. I think Seventh Heaven did one. A lot of different shows did a musical episode, and I just wanted Charmed to get its fair share. There are a lot of people too that like Legion, who is like, you need to put this on stage. You need to do a stage show of this, which it would be really fun.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah.
But the problem is, I don't have money for that. We'd have to charge admission, and I don't have we're technically doing this without a license, without approval, and it is a licensed IP. So as long as we keep it a fan-made production,
Yeah, for many legal reasons, probably.
I was trying
Yeah.
to avoid that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
for some reason, CBS wants to give us rights and people want to be in it and people want to donate money to put it on stage, we might do that. But right now, it's just me, all fan, where no payment, no monies are being moved around. I'm not being paid for this. Actors aren't going to be paid for this. This would just be volunteer for people who are in love with the show and want to make something really cool and be a part of something that's pretty remarkable and new that never happened before. Who has your favorite song so far? I mean, we all love the Daryl song. We played that quite a bit. I Don't Want to Know is probably one of the most fun songs. But I've been really liking Angel's Wings. I've been really liking the Lido song a lot.
Oh.
I've been jamming out to that one a lot. There's so many good songs. It's so hard to choose.
From a musical theater perspective, my favorite one is actually "No You Do It." I think that's the one I'm most excited to play and create. I don't know why. I just
You Do It.
I just really like the way that it builds, and it's yeah, that and well. You don't know what it sounds like yet, but This Isn't Goodbye. I think I really am very excited about it. I'm so excited for people to hear it.
You gave me a preview of the chorus, and
I did.
I'm in love with this. And This Isn't Goodbye is actually going to be our finale song as well. It's a very Prue heavy song. It's going to mean a lot.
Yeah.
It's going to mean a lot. I Know You Do It. That whole scene was kind of like an accident because I'm like, what scene are we going to go to first? What memory are we going to go to first?
Yeah.
And the truth is out there and it hurts. And it became this whole little give and take number, which is super fun.
Yeah. I think another one that I know I'm going to really like seeing how it turns out is wow, I forgot the name of it because I renamed it. What did I rename it to? Wait, I'm trying to remember what I named it to. Oh, I Wish You Were Here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You played that for me, and I cried for a good while, and it took a while for me to recover. It's very important. It's a very important song about their mom and what the mom means to them. And, with your mom being sick and me having lost my mom a year ago, it's crazy. It's very emotional, very beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's a lot, but I'm really happy it's there. It's something that when we were writing this, it's something that I wanted to make sure was in there at some point.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Is it singing the entire time, or is it between dialogue as well? Good question. No, we have decided on 22 to 23 songs. 22 songs if you count our opening credits. We do have a 52-second, like How Soon Is Now, which is going to be a big ensemble number. But there are scenes between, lots of dialogue between, and that was what I was in charge of, writing that story, writing those moments. And because I was thinking of it as an actual musical episode, there would be that back and forth between the singing and the talking. But we thought it was very fitting that there's 22 to 23 songs because that's how many episodes of Charmed are in a season, depending on which season you are watching. So that's a little bit of happiness for us, a little bit of poetry in motion over here. Any special appearances, like villain-wise, like past villains from the show? So we have an antagonist, which is I'm playing the antagonist. I put him in as like a character that I made. He's over there. He's in my bookshelf. That's Mercendius. He was a character I made for like a Pathfinder campaign. I just made him up, and I wanted him in my Book of Shadows. And then I'm like, wait, I'm writing the script. Why not put him in there? He's a new character. It might be fun. But we do have, I think there's one villain, one other villain in here. that gets a moment and actually sings some stuff.
Yeah.
One episode villain.
Yeah. That's why I said no. You do it. No, you do is my favorite song.
Yeah.
I really like it.
Yeah. But we don't have any of the other baddies really show up again because it's not really their story. This whole premise is for the sisters and people in their lives to like really analyze what's holding them back, something they're not telling themselves or the people in the something that's really weighing on them, or an inner truth that's very important to come to terms with. So that's what this musical is about. We have the title, "A Witch Your Heart Makes." So it's the charmed music, "A Witch Your Heart Makes," because I'm a big Disney nerd. I thought that was perfect, and I think it ties into what the message of this musical is about too. Your inner truth, your heart. What do you feel? Will there be any podcast Easter eggs like back at the you froze. Are you there? Anyway, I think there might be some of those things. I thought about saying like Bonquiche in it, but then I'm like, I kind of want to keep it in like an actual episode, but it would be fun to throw something like that. Maybe the narrator can do that. Back at the manor. That might be fun. So whoever the narrator is, we will need someone to talk, read the things that we can't really say in the dialogue. Poor Aaron is frozen.
Oh yeah, no, I'm here. I'm here still. Yeah, it's like anytime I have to like go out and click something in my phone. I wish you could minimize IG Live. I don't know why you can't, but you should be able to. I think.
Yeah.
It'd be,
So I don't know if you heard my response to that question.
I could hear you the whole time. Yeah.
So yeah, I think maybe the narrator could totally do something like that. But I don't think characters will say things like "back at the manor" and "Bonquiche" and those are very our mannerisms, our spell worderisms. Yeah. It's crazy. It's been 3 years. I wish. So my original plan for the 3-year anniversary was to do a giveaway and like have a review kind of thing. And I did not have time to plan it. I didn't have time during the 2-year anniversary. I didn't have time for this year anniversary. But one of these anniversaries, one of these celebratory moments, I want to do another giveaway because I've got stuff. I've got lots of charm stuff that I want people to win and stuff. So that would be fun for one of these years. I know Wayne, Prescott Manor, has some of his stuff that he specifically gave me for giveaways. So some goodies that would be really fun to throw out there. But not right now. We've got other things we're focusing on. Did the composer use any magic sound bites from the show? That's you, Aaron.
As in like actual sounds from the show? I did not.
You did not. You created the last episode. I did, but we will have power sounds in there. I have to give you those power sounds because they will be in there at some point.
Yeah. A lot of show tie-ins would come in through the lyrics, which were either inspired by or condensed versions of dialogue that was said or rearranged in a different way.
There is, and I thought about this. I asked you this because when they go to the memories, I'm like, should we include the clips of these memories in the show, or should we have our actors, our cast, say these lines? And ultimately, I think the cast should say them. I think because they can. I want them to kind of bring that memory to life, so that if they can kind of find the pattern and what was said in the show, that would be really cool. But I do want the cast to say it. There is one moment in the script that will directly use clips, but I think that might be the only time where that will use direct clips. Every other time, I think the cast will end up saying these lines that were from the memories that will be in the episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I thought about like putting them both on there, like the actor and the episode, but I think that would just get too messy. So, yeah. Yeah. And I think I think the actors, the fans of the show, will have fun getting to enact these lines. A lot of the people who were auditioning were doing monologues from the show, doing moments And that's super exciting to me. I was like, yeah, say those words from that. Be that character. Oh, how did you two meet and decide to work on this project together? How about you tell that story, Aaron?
Okay. Um, so oh goodness, I think, well, how do we meet? I remember seeing Kevin around on social media and things, and then as I was getting into Charmed, kind of talking about our commonalities being bisexual men, and so found the podcast and got into Charmed and went on a whole like Charmed binge watch, and then my former job had relocated me up here, so I could be able to, travel easier since I lived in a place that was not nearby airports for several hours. So this was much easier. And then, yeah, just continue to, I
Yeah,
don't know,
so
just, yeah,
you were a faithful listener of the podcast as we were covering the novels and then the comic books. You listened to every single episode, which is great.
hmm
And then you could see me in Cinderella, and then like 2 weeks later you moved here.
hmm
But it was the particular episode we covered the Pied Piper novel,
yeah,
and I was with Caitlin Shaper was my guest for that novel, and it was about a demon piper who would like steal the talents of children, musical gifted children, and use them to become very famous and rich and stuff, and like eat their souls. I don't know.
yeah,
But I decided to have an after activity where we said if Charmed was a musical, what kind of songs would they have? And we had both me and the guest Caitlin
hmm
came up with 5 song titles and kind of an idea of what the song would sound like and who would sing it. You listened to that episode and decided to write little bits of those songs and send them to me, and I was geeking out like crazy. I'm like, this is a possibility. This could happen. We need to make this musical happen, and that's what sparked the entire thing.
yeah, yeah. I was like, as soon as I heard the episode, I was like, ooh, I know I'm writing the music for this. And so, yeah, last April, I just sent them over, and the rest was history. A lot of it was just continuing to send more songs at first based off of the ideas straight from that podcast episode. And then as the script called for different things or modifications of things, then those songs changed into something else, or new songs entirely were made from scratch, inspired by certain moments that were needed.
Yeah, it's really kind of cool to see because we have several songs that we won't use at all in the show, several songs that just morphed lyrically. We had kind of the same melody, same idea, but completely different spot. Like I remember we had the Angel's Wing song that was we had that originally in a season 9 comic book memory, and I realized that it would probably make more sense in the show. And I much like it. I like it much more better now. That doesn't make sense, but I like it much better now. I think I like that it ties back to. We also wanted to try to include memories from every single season of the show, so
Yeah.
we got pieces of the whole history. And yeah, we moved it to a season 2 episode with Leo, where he was kind of like in a similar situation. Yeah, and I like it a lot. Yeah. I'm excited. I think because I want to release like a soundtrack of this too. I was wondering how to do that, but I would like to be able to release like this is the official list. You can totally put them on YouTube, song by song. 'Cause you know how you make a playlist on YouTube.
Yeah.
I was thinking we could do that.
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah.
But I want to have like a spot where, like these are the bonus songs or the cut songs or whatever, and you can just put your demos in there
Yep.
of like
I have them
this
all.
version. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is the version that could have been in there or something.
Yeah.
Because I think it's exciting for people to hear too. I think.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, because you wrote that one, the other Four Sister song. If I had one wish, remember that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I
I
liked.
like this one a lot better.
This one's a lot better. Yeah, because we were kind of basing that one off like the Little Mermaid song, and I liked I liked it, but I felt like what they were singing about was stuff we already know, and we don't need it.
Yeah.
Just like, okay, this is something that's like what we turned it into. It takes what we know, but allows them to process it a little bit and think about it. Yeah. So many feels with this show.
I know.
Charmed the Musical, Prue edition. Prue is my favorite character, if you don't know. And it was very important to me that we had some resolution with Prue. Some of going into how she felt about dying, how she feels about, the power of three and her sisters and where her place in the world is. And the comic books, especially season 10, do address that a lot. And that's something that I'm really grateful for Pat Shand for doing. And that gave us a lot of context for how we wrote Prue in this show. And so because this takes place between the early season 10, we like to kind of see how, put little tidbits in there to see how season 10 progresses and make it mean even more than it does already. It just feels like I like season 10 so much more because of what we do to this little show.
Yeah. It really kind of helps tie a lot of different things together and brings new perspective to moments.
And there's a whole Paige and Henry dynamic in season 10 where they're going through a kind of a marital problem. And very hard. It's very sad to see how much they love each other and yet how much pain and how much like turmoil they're going through. And here, I think, makes it even that much more tragic because of what they go through here. Feeling like there's a cure, and then what happens in season 10 is just like a major drop. Oh, he was thinking like a Taylor Swift edition. You can release different versions with a different sister edition. It's like different versions of the musical, different version of the song. That's kind of what we do with our song, actually. It's one song, but every sister gets like their moment, like their verse to talk about what they're feeling, and so they all sing their part, then they come together and sing together because they have it's all about the same topic, but how they relate to the same topic in different ways. I just can't wait for people to see this. Like once we start getting the cast and having them because what I was thinking too, I think a read through would be nice, kind of like a podcast read through.
Oh, where I play the songs over the thing as well.
Yeah.
You know what it sounds like.
And everyone can like just read their lines, and this probably be the first time that everyone like experiences the script for the first time and just knows the story. 'Cause that's when we do theater. That's a very important part of the theater process. So I would like to do that. It might be tricky if we have a lot of international people and time zones.
Yeah.
But if we can make it work, I would love to make that work. Just like do moments.
And there's a lot of special unreleased tracks.
Yeah. Special unreleased tracks. We'll have those. Yeah.
There's many. Yeah.
Who's been the hardest character to find a voice actor for so far? So the listeners know. Well, auditions are still coming in, so we haven't seen everybody yet. So they're completely open. Hopefully people can, we ask people to share who they're interested in, if they are interested in a certain character. Everybody, though, has said they'd accept any role given to them because I think they're just very excited about the project. But out of the auditions I've seen so far, I don't have a page yet. And I can't see any of them being paged yet. Well, I thought because my sister auditioned, actually. I thought she would be a good Prue or Paige. I'm leaning towards Prue for her, but she could be Paige too. So maybe we'll do a callback where we try out both. But I'm trying to think who do we not have anybody for yet at all? We don't have a Grams yet. I don't know who Grams.
No.
Do we have Grams? Yeah. So we need someone to play Grams. So someone audition to be Grams. That'd be nice. I know Paul. We have a few very small parts. If you just want to say a line here or two in the script, we have some room for you too. I know people are just I just want to be in it. I'll say this line. So I know Paul from Power of X-Men. He's I'm going to audition for Paige's friends and Ben, the assistant. And so they win one scene with each of those which might be fun for him. We need Billy and Christy too for a song. I told Aaron because we have like present day characters and like memory characters kind of in the
Mm-hmm.
same scene. I wanted to differentiate the memory voices with some kind of ethereal quality so you can know what's a memory and what's actually happening now. I think that'll be very important. And especially since this is going to be just an audio only medium, uh, we need to make sure that people get it and they listen to it.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy making the sadder, angry, or quirky songs more? Oh, what a good question.
Oh, you know what? Um, so I guess the songs are classified as angry, like The Littlest Brother and uh, Let Them Burn, Let Them Flood. I had a lot of enjoyment making. I just kind of it was there's a lot of fun in making many of the songs, especially if the melody idea I had turned out to be something that I really enjoyed too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Brother,
it was yeah.
Little Brothers, the angsty adult Chris
Hmm.
song,
Hmm.
and it's very rocker. It's more of like a rock song. Uh, and that's probably I don't think we ever get like too crazy angry, too crazy heavy, because it is a musical. But I think that's probably the most angry of the songs. Uh,
Hmm.
the Mercendia song is a little bit angry, a little bit confused, a little bit revelatory. It's like it's called Crossroads of a God for a reason because you have all these emotions.
Oh yeah. That's right. I'm calling it by its own names.
Yeah.
Um, um, I do love a quirky. I do love a quirky. Like Let Me Be Normal was very quirky.
I love
Even
the
doing
amazing.
something like wow, what I'm like the titles of the songs are going like um I can only say Spice Girls. That's the only thing I can say. That's not what it's actually called.
Generation X.
Yes,
That's our first opening number. The
Generation X. Yeah.
and that's wild. It's
Hmm.
great. It's a Spice
Hmm.
Girls. Yeah, it's a Spice Girl song.
Yeah, and that was inspired by the podcast, which I guested on for Generation Hex, and the um, the musical reference that Kevin already had when we recorded the podcast. So kind of
Yeah,
just incorporated that into making the musical song.
but I really love Amazing Phoebe a lot too. That's another one I sing quite a bit.
Yeah,
And that's super
yeah.
quirky and super cute. It's
Hmm.
like season one of Phoebe singing about being the psychic at the Mermaid Lounge. I'm like,
Ah!
I love that song so much. I
Yeah,
can't wait for people to. I can't wait for people to hear it. Oh
yeah.
my god! And I think, oh, I can't wait for our cast to like sing these songs. And like, I want to see how they react to these songs.
Yeah,
Singing them.
yeah.
You know.
And it always brings me joy whenever Kevin ends up singing a song at me, because then at least I know I did something. At least it was
Yeah, because
the
you're
song actually
always,
stuck
like,
around.
kind of catchy. You
Yeah,
want these songs to, and that's
yeah.
makes a good song. Something that sticks with you. Something that you think
Hmm.
about. And I think they're
Hmm.
quality too. He asked us to
Hmm.
sign the Spice Girls as charming characters. I do that. There's a part of my script where that comes up, which is kind of funny.
Oh,
Where
yeah.
Henry asks Paige like, "Oh, which Spice Girl were you?"
Hmm.
Like, but I put in that scene. Paige says Ginger, obviously, but are there anyone else? Because I put that because Jerry Halliwell, her last name is Halliwell in real life, which is very fun. Um, but who else? I mean, Phoebe would be Baby, obviously. Quick Baby for Phoebe. Um, I would say, I would say, oh, he's gone. I would say Prue maybe is Scary Spice, and Piper. Oh, Prue could be Posh though too. Prue could be Posh. makes me feel too. I'll make Piper Sporty Spice, I guess, but I feel like that's not quite fit either. I don't know. Piper's hard. And then we have the Dream Girl song. Our Act 1 finale is like our Dream Girl song, which I love.
It's yeah. Oh goodness, that'll be very interesting.
I love that one too. Such a fun. That's a fun finale. Like, oh. But you know what would make my day? If people just go and they start singing these songs in their everyday life. Like, you ever heard this song? Oh, let me tell you.
Oh yeah, that'd be so cool. Really cool.
Oh, the other one I love. It's that short song, "Waiting."
Oh wait, oh yeah. I love the short songs that those are gonna be a lot of fun.
"Waiting" is like, it's so simple. It's so catchy. I am obsessed with it, and it's so great just to have that little moment. I think it's great for Leo to have that little moment.
Mm-hmm.
But this is super fun. Happy anniversary, Words of the Witches.
Happy anniversary.
I want to make more merch for the
Oh
podcast.
yeah. Would you make musical inspired?
Absolutely making
A quote from the musical.
I commissioned an artist to draw me a new picture that I use on the album cover. But he also gave me the picture individually, each sister individually.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to be making merch for those. I can have like the cover art of it, and you can have like buy each sister separate, kind of on a shirt or whatever. So those will be going up on there. I still want to do like Fuck Me Daddy Satan merch and She
Yes.
merch. People are probably listening like, what are they talking about?
I know.
But it's like podcast stuff, all the little weird inside jokes that we got from this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, those would be fun. But yeah, definitely musical merch, definitely. Because if it takes off, people are gonna probably want to celebrate that stuff. Well, I think that's it then, unless anybody has any other questions. That because I couldn't like not let the anniversary go by and not do something. So I just wanted to check in with everybody and get that going. So yeah,
Power of three.
the power of three. Your destiny still awaits. Your destiny still awaits. Oh, and I'm meeting Jennifer Rhodes this weekend. Meeting Grant.
Oh my goodness. Oh, take all the pictures, do all the things.
What do we have to look forward to on the pod? Another good question. You are full of the best questions today. Well, obviously this musical. After that will be season 3 of the podcast, where we cover the guidebooks. So this will include the Book of Threes, the Book of Shadows by Annie Genge, all of the essay books like the Triquetra. I have all those scheduled. That'll be season 3. And then in season 4, we'll be covering all of the Charmed official magazines. So I have all those things and any other magazine. And then I'm going to be doing the books that they wrote. And if there's any other Charmed books or like Shannon's book, and Alyssa's book, Rose's book, we're covering all those. So there's still plenty on the docket.
Yes.
I have at least 2 more years of this podcast to go. So yeah,
much.
it's pretty insane.
Yeah.
But it's good. I set out to do it, and I'm doing it. Well, thanks for listening, Spellworders. Thanks for tuning in. And yes, so much more to look forward to. Oh, all the excitement, all the feels. Yes. So we will. Oh, let's just hear. Everyone's coming too late. I'm leaving. You're just joining us. But I will save this in the Instagram so you can watch this after the fact that we're done, and I will put this on the podcast feed so you can always, if you're listening to this on the podcast feed or watching this on YouTube, it will be available in all of those places. So yeah, bonus episode of the anniversary of this podcast. Yes. So cool. We will see you soon. Bye.
Bye.